Hey guys! Today we will explore the fascinating and intense journey of Adam and Eve after their expulsion from the Garden of Eden. Get ready for a story of struggle, resilience, and hope that will hold your attention until the last second. Let's discover how humanity's first couple faced a world full of challenges and sought redemption in the midst of adversity. Stay with us and dive into this story full of emotions and revelations. After being expelled from the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve's lives changed drastically. The garden, which was once a paradise filled with abundance and beauty, gave way to a hostile and challenging world. The blessings of Eden, where work was pleasurable and needs were easily met, were replaced by a harsh reality, marked by struggle and suffering. Adam and Eve were faced with the harsh truth that their actions had profound and lasting consequences. The first and most immediate change was the need to work hard to survive. Adam, who previously tended the garden with ease, now had to plow the land, plant and harvest with great effort. The soil, which in Eden was fertile and generous, had been cursed and had become resistant and full of thorns and weeds. Survival required sweat and perseverance. Subscribe to the channel and leave your like for YouTube to notify you that a new video has already been released here on the channel. Continue. Thank you for Eva. The change was also significant. God had said that she would experience intense pain in childbirth, and this promise was fulfilled with the birth of her children. Motherhood, which should have been a pure blessing, was now associated with physical suffering. Furthermore, the relationship between her and Adam suffered tensions. The harmony that existed in Eden was replaced by conflicts and an altered power dynamic, where Eve found herself in a position of dependence and subordination, as mentioned in the biblical narrative. Despite these difficulties, Adam and Eve were not completely abandoned. God, in His mercy, provided them with some guidance and resources. He dressed them in animal skins, teaching them about sacrifices and the importance of a relationship with Him, even outside of Eden. These sacrifices symbolized the need for atonement and prefigured the redemptive sacrifice that, according to Christian theology, would come through Jesus Christ. Adam and Eve had many children, and through them humanity began to expand. His sons, Cain and Abel, are well-known figures, especially because of the tragic event of the first murder, when Cain killed Abel out of jealousy and anger. This act of violence between brothers demonstrated how sin had corrupted human nature, introducing conflict and death into the human experience. The Adam and Eve narrative also touches on themes of learning and growth. They needed to learn how to build shelters, create tools, and develop farming and herding methods. These advances were essential for the survival and prosperity of their descendants. In a sense, the fall forced humanity to grow, innovate, and adapt, characteristics that have shaped human development over the centuries. Subscribe to the channel and leave your like for YouTube to notify you that a new video has already been released here on the channel. Continue. Thank you. Adam and Eve's relationship with God continued, albeit in a different way. They experienced physical separation from Eden, but the divine presence was still present in their lives. Communication with God became more difficult and less direct, but they still sought guidance and forgiveness through sacrifices and prayers. His story is a constant reminder of the complex nature of the human relationship with the divine, a balance between justice and mercy, fall and redemption. Adam lived for many years, 930 according to biblical tradition, and during that time he saw the world transform and his family grow. He witnessed the development of the first human communities, the introduction of music, metallurgy, and other arts. However, it also saw the rise of wickedness and corruption, something that would eventually culminate in the flood in Noah's day. Thus, the story of Adam and Eve after Eden is a narrative of adaptation and resilience. They faced significant challenges, but they also contributed to the progress and complexity of the human experience. His journey after the fall serves as a reminder of the consequences of sin, but also of the human capacity to persevere and find ways back to God, even in the midst of adversity. Life outside Eden was marked by an intensity of emotions and challenges that Adam and Eve had never experienced in the paradisiacal garden. Pain, loss, hard work, and constant struggles shaped the first couple's new reality. After the expulsion, the pain of separation from God was a constant weight on them. The intimacy they enjoyed with the Creator was replaced by a spiritual detachment that led them to an endless search for redemption and meaning. The memories of Eden, with its peace and harmony, were a cruel reminder of what they had lost because of their disobedience. The relationship with his children was another point of tension. Cain and Abel, his first sons, became symbols of the dichotomy between good and evil that now permeated humanity. Cain's murder of Abel was not just a family tragedy, but a sign of how deeply sin had taken root in the human heart. Adam and Eve's grief was deep. Abel's violent death was a devastating blow that brought to light the fragility of life and the harshness of the post-Eden world. Forced exile led them to seek new ways of living. Adam and Eve had to learn to work with the earth, which, although stubborn and thorny, also had the potential to sustain life. Agriculture has become not just a necessity, but an act of survival and resistance. The domestication of animals, the construction of shelters, and the creation of tools were essential parts of this new way of life. Each day brought new challenges and required a resilience that only suffering and perseverance could forge. Eva's motherhood was also marked by a mixture of joy and pain. In addition to the physical suffering of childbirth, there was the constant worry about the survival of their children in an uncertain and hostile world. Raising their children involved teaching them to avoid the mistakes they themselves had made, imparting lessons in morality and faith in a God who, although distant, was still present. Subscribe to the channel and leave your like for YouTube to notify you that a new video has already been released here on the channel. Continue. Thank you. Guilt and regret were constant companions for Adam and Eve. With every storm, drought, or natural calamity, they felt the weight of their decision. The hardships of their daily work and the illnesses that began to take their toll on their bodies were tangible reminders of the curse they bore. However, this guilt also led them to a deep search for redemption and reconciliation with God. The practice of sacrifices was a continuous attempt at atonement and a way of keeping hope for a better future alive. As the years passed, Adam and Eve's family grew. They had many sons and daughters, and humanity began to spread across the earth. The spread of their descendants brought diversity and complexity to the world. They saw the formation of the first societies, with their own cultures, languages, and ways of life. This expansion, although a sign of success and continuity, also brought new challenges, including territorial conflicts and power struggles. The longevity of Adam, who lived 930 years, allowed him to observe many generations. He saw the moral decay that led to the flood, but he also witnessed acts of human kindness and innovation. This duality reflected the ongoing struggle between good and evil within humanity, a struggle that began with its own fall. Adam and Eve, at the end of their lives, were figures marked by pain, but also by the wisdom acquired through suffering. They learned to find small moments of joy and gratitude, even in the midst of adversity. The hope of redemption never left their hearts, sustaining them until the end. The post-Eden narrative of Adam and Eve is a story of loss and struggle, but also of resistance and hope. It is a powerful reminder of the consequences of sin, but also of the human capacity to adapt and seek redemption. Ultimately, his story is a reflection on the human condition and the eternal search for a return to divine grace. The story of Adam and Eve after their expulsion from the Garden of Eden is a profound exploration of the human condition, marked by suffering, adaptation, and hope. His journey out of paradise is a reflection of the consequences of sin and the complexity of life in an imperfect world. However, it is also a narrative of resilience and the search for redemption. The conclusion of this narrative reminds us that even in the face of the most extreme adversity, there is an inherent capacity in humanity to learn, grow, and find meaning. Adam and Eve, through their hard work, their pain, and their joy, show us that life is a mixture of light and dark, and that it is possible to find purpose even in the most challenging circumstances. The purpose of this story is twofold. Firstly, it serves as a warning of the consequences of deviating from the path of righteousness and obedience to God. Sin has a price, and that price is felt in every aspect of life. Secondly, it is a reminder of the infinite mercy and love of God, who, even after the fall, did not abandon humanity. God's presence continued to be a source of guidance and hope for Adam and Eve, as it is for all of us. Subscribe to the channel and leave your like for YouTube to notify you that a new video has already been released here on the channel. Continue. Thank you. In essence, Adam and Eve's life after Eden is a parable of the human experience. In moments of greatest pain and challenge, there is an opportunity for spiritual growth and reconnection with the divine. Their story invites us to reflect on our own lives, to recognize our failures, and to constantly seek a deeper relationship with God, knowing that, despite difficulties, there is always hope for redemption and renewal. What is your opinion? Leave it in the comments.